Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm Tammy Randolph with the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm glad that you've joined us for The Chamber Does What? Today, my guest is Father Joel Huffstetler, the rector at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. And I'm not going to lie, it's my church, my rector, my priest, and I'm very honored to have him here. Thank you, Father Joel, for coming.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Now, a lot of people don't know a lot about St. Luke's. If I tell people, they say, what church do you go to? I'm like, the one with the mausoleum. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little bit about the history of St. Luke's?
Sure. St. Luke's was started as a mission in 1867, and then the train accident happened with Nina Craig Miles in 1872. And so the name of the church was changed to St. Luke's because she was killed on St. Luke's Day. And in 1874, the current building was consecrated. So yeah, we've been right in the heart of downtown for a long time.
And it is a beautiful building. We just finished a renovation for the pointing, so it'll be lasting around for another 100 years,
right?
Luckily.
Right.
Now, how long have you been at St. Luke's?
It'll be 23 years at the end of May. Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you have seen a lot of changes, not only at St. Luke's, but in Cleveland and Bradley County in that time. What can you say has been the biggest change that you've noticed, both in the church and in the community?
The growth everywhere. St. Luke's is a growing congregation. We're getting younger on average. But the growth in the community, yes, traffic has changed. But at the Y, I hear a lot more languages than I used to hear. And just doing daily pastoral rounds, I'm all over town every day. And the volume of traffic speaks to the reality of the volume of growth. And in my comings and goings every day, I just see all of the development, all of the construction going on, the grading. It's just incredible. So, it's a different job description than I inherited as far as St. Luke's. And in many ways, the community has changed, mostly much for the better. But we still maintain that small town feel here in Cleveland. But it really is a different, it's a changing, evolving community. And St. Luke's is evolving with it.
But I like how, one of the things you always say is we keep the main thing the main thing.
Right.
And so what would someone expect if they're coming to visit St. Luke's? What would they expect to see at a Sunday service?
First of all, we're very ecumenical. We have people join us from all different traditions. Some people come to us from an unchurched background. Of course, some of our members are lifelong Episcopalians, and we cherish that and build on that commitment. But the vast majority of people joining the church are some version of Protestant. We certainly have folks come to us from the Roman Catholic Church, but we do have a set style of worship, but that set style is offered very warmly and invitingly. So we do a liturgy every Sunday, but it's very ecumenical, and we try to make people feel very welcome. So there's a formality, there's a predictability to the worship, but we're not a formal church at all. I don't think we're formal. I think we're very warm and inviting.
I can tell you, I don't get looked at in a strange face when I walk in wearing a pair of jeans on Sunday.
Good. No, I hope not.
Well, and also I think, we do have a lot of community prayer, and sometimes I think having that kind of bolsters, because I may not have it I may be having a day where I'm just not sure I'm there, but I know if I'm praying with everybody that they're lifting me up as well, and I think that's very helpful as well.
Most of our prayers have stood the test of time, so we're drawing, we hope, on the best of Christian history, but in the moment that is now. We're not trying to preserve a legacy. We're building on a legacy to meet the moment that we're in. We said a lot during the pandemic, we need to meet the moment, and that's what we're doing ever since.
And the pandemic had a big change for us, because one of the things we do is we have a large online presence, which is kind of surprising. Can you tell a little bit about some of the online things we do? Yeah,
for somebody who uses a flip phone still, it's kind of ironic that the church is so progressive, but we realized from the first Sunday in the pandemic that this was the way to minister to people. So we put a cell phone on a tripod that first Sunday, but certainly in the years since. So we've developed a very broad-ranged online ministry. We do have the largest online audience in the Diocese of East Tennessee. So every Sunday after our coffee hour, after our social hour, after church, I go to my very basic computer and do a very basic search. And even I can see people from New York City who are saying hello, people in West Texas saying hello, certainly sometimes people in foreign countries. So, no, we have a wide online audience. So, ironically, post-pandemic, the footprint of St. Luke's is larger than it's ever been, and really larger than we would have imagined. Everything was still local before the advent of online. So, it feels different as we continue to evolve. So I'd like to think that what's best about St. Luke's we hold on to. Certainly that's our intention, but we're certainly growing with the community, and online is a big part of that. People who are very loyal to their own church, which I fully support, can dip into St. Luke's anytime they want to be part of what we do, and people do that.
They
do.
Yeah. And we're very blessed because we're lucky, because sometimes I've missed some of the Sunday schools, and you had a great series not too long ago, and so that's on the St. Luke's podcast. So there's a lot of different platforms to people to be able to touch in and engage with that.
Really, all of the education we do for adults is online, and the sermons are online, including our lay preachers, who are all wonderful, very talented. There are a lot of offerings that people can dip into while they continue to be loyal to their own church. Yeah.
You touched on a little bit how the reach of St. Luke's has grown, and I know that there's a lot of community outreach that St. Luke's does. Can you talk about some of the community partners that we have?
Yeah, I just had a meeting last week with a fellow church member with the Caring Place, with Corinne Freeman. We were very active with the Caring Place in its very early days. We were really tight with them. And as they've grown, they've had more input from other places, and we've done some other things. But we're strengthening our relationship with the Caring Place. We've been very involved over the years with BIC in its heyday, very involved recently with Foundation House Ministries. But we've got church members all over town in the different social clubs. We're very active church members in Kiwanis, Rotary. It's different incarnations, Sunrise, Noon, and the Ocoee Rotary. Certainly active in the chamber. So St. Luke's members are all over town, very active. We've got some folks in elected office, but a lot of our parishioners are very active on boards and very visible in the community.
And that's wonderful. One of the things also, we talked about the pandemic and how that changed things. One of the things that's come of that is you have written some beautiful books. And I saw that you brought them. Can you tell us a little bit? I know the one just reached Traveling by a Different Way.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about some of the books that you've written for it?
Thank you. Yeah, these are all organic. I didn't set out to write any of them. When we had to do something in place of our normal communion service on Thursdays in 2020, I did a series of meditations on the Epistle of James. And after 4 or 5 of them, one of our staff members, Isaac Doty, said, "You ought to keep these notes." And it was very kind. And I did keep them, and in the end revised them, because they're not just transcripts, they're definitely revised. But that book's called Practical Faith and Active Love. It's on the Epistle of James. And then I was preaching my heart out in 2020, doing the best I could to meet the moment, and thought about publishing the sermons, but thought, I don't want to do too much with this, and don't want to get out over my skis or anything. But I had a name for the book in mind. I had Changed Eyes in my head, it could be called. And so one night after a meeting, we were still wearing masks, and we were keeping our social distance, and one of our senior members of the parish said, "You should publish these sermons." And I said to her, "Well, I've thought about it, but I don't want to get over my skis, and I don't want too much of that." She said, "Oh, no, you should publish them, and you should call the book Changed Eyes."
That's a sign right there.
I thought that's a God wink. So then this last book is called Traveling by a Different Way, which is an homage to the wise men being told in a dream to leave by a different way. So Traveling by a Different Way are the 2021 sermons. But all of these are revised. They're not just transcripts of what I did in real time. Things are always better when you go back and revisit and revise. So I'm not looking for any real commercial success in this. I do believe in the material. And we, to the history branch, to Margot's knowledge and mine, we in Cleveland don't have any documentation from the local churches from the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918. To my knowledge, not one sheet of paper that would document how churches responded. If it exists, I'd be very glad to know about it. But when and if people do study the pandemic in the future, there will be, these are local products. They come right out of the life of St. Luke's and Cleveland. So in addition, I hope to being nourishing to people's devotional life now, there is a record of how one church at least dealt with the pandemic. So there's more than one reason to do these books. But I do offer them to people as they're great for morning or evening devotions. The chapters are brief, and most of them were sermons originally, but now they really read like essays or meditations.
They're very good devotional books. I've given away a few of them and given away to people that I think need them.
Thank you.
And they do make a difference.
All I want is the people who need them to find them. Not
Exactly.
looking for commercial success or notoriety, but I do believe in the material. And I would like the Voice of St. Luke's to find as many people in need as possible. So yeah, thank you.
That's good. Now, as we're talking, there's got a long history for St. Luke's in Bradley County. What kind of things do you see in the future? I know that I feel very lucky that we have such a youth population there, and our youth are weekly part of the sermon, or not part of the sermon, but part of the liturgy. Our children read, they serve.
Right.
They're not just on Youth Sunday. What do you see for the future in St. Luke's?
I see a very bright future. Bradley County and Cleveland are more diverse now sociologically, and for all the growth in some megachurch traditions, which we support and are grateful for, a lot of people now are looking for liturgy. Life can be so chaotic now, and people can have so much input via social media, some of which is wanted and some of which isn't wanted.
Yeah.
The slow and steadiness of St. Luke's liturgy. Some people want a predictable hour these days when there's so much unpredictability the other hours of the week. So you don't have to have a background in liturgical worship to be drawn to liturgical worship. I grew up in a very different tradition than the Episcopal Church. So as there's more diversity in Cleveland and Bradley County, there simply are more people who are looking for a liturgical church. And almost without exception, every single time I meet with a new household, they say at one point or another in the conversation, I just am looking for a church where I'll be welcome. And I tell them every time, you will be welcome here. So there's no litmus test. We don't try to shape people into a mold. We really accept people where they are in their spiritual journey. So I think as the city and the county grow, there are just going to be more people looking for liturgical worship, but liturgical worship that's offered in a very inviting way. Again, there's nothing formal about, there's a lovely rhythm to how we worship. It's a predictable rhythm from week to week. But the lessons are different each week, the sermon's different, and the congregation's different each week.
It is.
So, yeah.
I'm seeing that a little bit.
But St. Luke's future should be very bright as we're growing right along with Cleveland and Bradley County. And
we talk about the welcoming. There's a sign in the yard that says the Episcopal Church welcomes you, and that's kind of the motto for it.
that is our message.
Well, and so people would also kind of ask, it's kind of strange for a church to join a chamber of commerce or the business organization. But we have a lot of nonprofits and churches. What, aside from me pushing,
Well, yeah, there's that.
what has been...
We've been members for years.
Yes, you have, even before I pushed. But
Right.
So what is it for St. Luke's to be part of the chamber?
Well, in part, it is to support our own people. Gary Farlow was president of the chamber when we joined, and now your position continues to increase over time, and we're so grateful for that. We want to be good neighbors, and again, I started out with we are as ecumenical a church as it's possible to be. We welcome people from all different religious traditions, and we want to be good neighbors of people who don't go to St. Luke's, but who are in town and in the community working for the good of all of our sisters and brothers. So it's just one more way for us to be involved in the community, to be a good neighbor, and to be a good representative of the community, and for us to know what's happening in the community. You've got to know, you need to know where you are as a church, and who are the other churches by and large ministering to, and who might we minister to. And the more involved we are in the community, starting with the chamber, I just think the more rooted we are in the community, and the more people know about us and know something beyond just that we're a beautiful, historic downtown church. We are a warm, welcoming group of people. Even folks who have another church commitment, they at least know they can count on us to be involved in the community. So we're going to be gearing up to help with the RAM clinic that's coming to Cleveland in the middle of May. We're going to help the Caring Place put that on. And we do different outreach projects throughout the year, but
every month we're at the homeless shelter.
Every month.
And that's even having our youth group, even the kids go.
Right.
Our juniors and our middle school and high schoolers go cook and serve as well. So it's from little on up.
Right. So we believe in the mission of the chamber, and we were invited to be a part, and very grateful for that. And we're just hoping to enhance it over the years.
Well, I am very grateful to have you, and I'm grateful to be a part of St. Luke's. You want to tell when the service times are for St. Luke's?
Yes. During the academic year, we have 3 communion services on a Sunday. So the first one is at 8 o'clock. The second one is at 9:30. It's a little bit shorter. Some of our people call that speed church. Lasts about 45 minutes. And then the 10:45 service each Sunday has the full choir. We have music at 8 o'clock, but not the choir, not the full choir. Then I do want the community to know we have a lovely midweek communion service on Thursdays at 12:10. We give people 10 minutes to get over there from lunch, from work. And that service, every week I look at my watch, we normally get out at 10 till 1. So it's about 35 or 40 minutes. It's a very nice midweek opportunity for a brief respite where you can come and worship and be quiet for a few minutes and be nourished by communion, and then can go back to work or your activities. So 3 services on Sundays, September through May, and the weekly midweek on Thursdays at 12:10.
And during the summer, it's 8 and 10.
8 and 10, yeah.
8
We
and
do
10.
go down to 2 services in the summertime.
Everybody needs a break in the
Everybody
summertime.
needs a little bit of a break, yes.
Well, thank you very much, Father Joel. I appreciate
welcome.
it. If you are interested, you can reach out to St. Luke's. They're on Facebook. They have a podcast like I do. But thank you for watching. Make sure you like, follow, share, and tell your friends. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.